Kick it, Busy. Kick it. There you go. It's starting. My name is Jason, in case you didn't know. It's on my channels and Twitter. All right, y'all. Oh man, how many have done it how many times before, Lone Wolf? Okay. So, first thing I'll say is I'm not attacking Steve McCrae. I know that some people are going to say that or might have said it in the chat already. Of course, I'm not going to attack Steve. And how I look at Steve hasn't changed. I don't believe in cancel culture. There are things that will make me stop working with somebody. But I tend to use the old adage, if somebody's willing to... I don't think what Steve has done anyway would be something that would get me to stop working with him. Oh, thank you, whoever that was. Appreciate you. Even though, if let's just say Steve did do something that I would consider as something that I would cut off communication with him for, if I first would talk to him, I'd conversate with him about it, I'd see if he would apologize, fix it, all that. And that's what, avoiding cancel culture is all about. Through this whole thing, I've taken it slow. I've tried to slow people down. I tried to interrupt Steve when he was going out into crazy places when I was on his show. I got emails for that from Steve's fans. I let them know, like, hey, Steve told me to criticize him, to be myself, to be unbiased, and I am. And then I've also done that on this show, and he does it to me too. So a part of the internet is letting people interact, letting people work things out, and you have nothing to worry about when it comes to me and Steve, and neither does Steve, and I've already told him this before the show. Part 2, I did try to get a hold of Steve before I did this video. Unfortunately, he was streaming on Twitch for like a really long time, and we went ahead and went in with the stream. Part 3, I'm going to talk to Steve, most likely on the after show, so make sure you come. We had like almost 200 people there the other night, so it's on Mixer at UNIRock and on DLive at UNIRocktv. If for some reason that you cannot use Mixer. I'll just let you know, though, you don't even have to have an account to watch on Mixer. Mixer's really, really open. It's really cool, and it has the best connection, the best options, all that crap. You got me? Anyway, then also for anyone that can't watch on Mixer or can't watch on DLive, you can watch the after show and all my shows on Twitter. Okay? Now, here's what's up. Today I started the day, and I planned on not streaming, just like I've done a couple times in the last couple of months. I planned on not streaming tonight, but I always try to stream if something's going on, and if it's something that I think would be glanced over if we waited a day, or if maybe the community has reacted to it heavily. I do find it necessary to get online when things like that happen. You guys know me. A couple of things that happened with Katie, I jumped right online and talked about. So therefore, it's only fair for me to do the same thing when something happens that people are criticizing Steve for. But one thing I'll add, this isn't me trying to convince you to cancel Steve in the same way I didn't convince you to cancel Katie. Just so all that stuff is taken care of. These are criticisms. And the difference between Steve and Katie, I think, is whether or not Steve is willing to hear people when they offer criticism, look at his whatever, anything he's done that people are criticizing him about, be open about it, try to fix it if it is worth fixing, or give you a reason if he thinks he shouldn't, not ignoring it. And I've seen Steve try to fix it already before I even went live. He linked me to something that was buried in this massive response. The Twitter was on fire when I didn't even know, by the way, because I don't even have Twitter notifications turned on. If I did, it would just it would sound like a damn typewriter. It would just make noise all the time. So anyway, I just want to make sure everything's up front. So this is what brought me in it kind of initially. I went into Discord. I've been working on my PC. I've been making videos, and I went into Discord. I went to Discord, and people started to tell me, hey, there's shit going on. Like, let's talk about it. And I was like, okay, cool. Because I was just going to chill. And then, hold on, somebody's tagging me. Love your shows. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Then I went into Discord, and this was brought to me here. So somebody said to Steve, Andrea said, Uni, do you support this line that Steve is going down? And I know that Steve was angry and all that, and he was getting a lot of criticism, and he flipped out and said, why do I give an F what he supports? And then he goes on, I'm doing due diligence he has nothing to do with, nor do you know anything about. Now, let me defend Andrea, because, like, you know, if that's what we do, and I know Steve was mad and all that, but that's what we do, right? We offer our take, our commentary, our opinion on these things. I've been called into the situation, so I do understand why Andrea tagged me. But I wouldn't criticize or be mad at Andrea for tagging any other YouTuber to get their opinion either, you know? There's nothing bad about getting someone else's opinion, but Steve said I'm doing due diligence, and he has nothing to do with, nor do you know anything about. And I didn't even read that when I responded. But here's my opinion to Andrea. And I said this to Andrea before I'd even seen what Steve had said or anything. So Steve's response did not influence me. But I said, no, I don't agree. There are places I do not go, and I don't go there for any reason. I'm not against Steve. I just think he needs me to tell him that he needs to take a break from this. To take himself out of it and let Nick handle Person M and others handle other things, my opinion. Now, as you notice, I thought Andrea was asking me about everything, and the stuff I hadn't even barely seen what was going on with the people criticizing Steve over Katie's offspring, is what I'll say. I don't know why I said offspring, but man, I've just been listening to a lot of rock and roll lately. but anyway, they do have a really good song. So look, after I put this tweet out, all I thought was I was at this mind space to a point where it was like Steve brought up the kid's name, Katie got mad about it or something, and that's where I was. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't really know everything that happened in the situation yet, and we'll work on figuring it out now that Steve's not on Twitch. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, just to catch you up to speed, to let people know what's up, to let people know how I feel, answer the stuff that people are sending me. This is how I feel, okay? So let me tell you why I said what I said and why I feel like I feel. Go through it and give you my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? That way, like, you get my side, and, you know, I'll go to the live chat in a little bit and see what you got to add in. There are places I don't go. I don't go there for any reason. I'm not against Steve. I just think he needs me to tell him that he needs to take a break from this. And I mean that. And I don't mean that Steve shouldn't defend himself. That's what's so hard about these kind of situations. How does anyone sit down and make up Steve's mind for him on where to go with what? But if I go into Steve and say, this is my opinion, this is what I'm going to say about the situation that I was asked about. And I do think there's value in me responding this way too. Okay. Anyway, that it's all gone on, and it's gone to such a head. And if we do look back, there's so much out there. I think it'd be valuable if Steve did take some days off. He hasn't been lately, and I know why. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying he did anything wrong here. But maybe at this point, you know, I've been trying to tell Steve to slow down and to commentate and to give his thoughts, to use that type of thinking that Steve is famous for, and use that type of thinking in this situation, because I know that Steve could let's say it wasn't Steve, it wasn't Katie, and Steve was commentating on everything going on. He would be able to sit down, work through it, get like, you know, a really good philosophical and at the same time not opinion going on that I think people would value, you know? And he does that a little bit now. But he's also, while he's doing it, he takes, like right now, I'm not looking at my chat. You get me? Right now, I'm telling you what happened and what I thought and what I think now and explaining things, you know? If I was looking at my chat, if I was taking messages, if I wasn't doing it this way, there would be so much that would distract me that it would take away everything I'm about to say to you would leave my mind and I'd have to recall it later. You got me? Like, me tracking such a complex situation would go bye-bye like it did that one stream. Like, I tried to do a stream Wednesday or Tuesday or whenever it was. It was the stream that when Katie had first said my name on Instagram, right? And I went live, and I was going to plan on doing a stream, like doing a show, and Steve popped in. He's like, yo, I got information for you and all that, and everybody kept telling me to pull him in, and I kept saying, give me some time, give me some time. The reason I told people to give me some time was so that I could do this, so that I could get what I need to say out there, so I could get my thoughts out there, and at the same time, grasp a better understanding of what's going on. React live at the same time that I'm explaining it. You know, if I get something wrong, if there's new information, if somebody wants to weigh in, they get to. But I don't see why me doing my thing here on my show would be bad to do in any situation. And that's what I tried to do the other day, and it was taken away. What happened to that stream when it was taken away? It ended up devolving. It devolved into me not being able to track the situation. I went back and watched that. It was like the 6-hour stream, and I spent a lot of it sitting here like this because I couldn't track anything. Because, like, I didn't get to question things the right way, and I didn't get to take the conversation further, right? And I'm not saying it's bad. What I do, I segregate my streams out into different parts. This part, I'm explaining what happened, telling you what I thought, updating you with my thoughts now, just getting my head straight on how I feel about things. The second part of the stream, I might go to the live chat, let you weigh in, read what you think, respond there, get some new stuff, get some new knowledge, get caught up on things. Then in the next part of the stream, I might bring Steve in. I might do something else, right? And doing all of that makes a structured stream. It makes a better replay. It makes people watch it and be like, okay, this stream is going somewhere. I'm going to keep watching this, and I'm going to understand things better because of it, right? That's what I wanted to do that day, and that's what I hope to do today, and I hope to do that in all my streams. You get me? So that's why, like, I don't want people to think that I was trying to ignore Steve on Wednesday or today. What I'm telling you is, this is a very this whole thing I do when I stream is not just to inform you, to catch you up, and to get your opinions, even though that is the main thing. It also helps me. I've adapted to my live streams over the last few years. You know what I'm saying? But the main thing I want to say, though, is I'm not against Steve. I'm not, and I won't be against him in the future. I'll work with him in the future. Nothing's changing is what I'm trying to say. I'm just going to offer some criticism and some suggestions to Steve. He doesn't have to take them. He doesn't have to care. He doesn't have to, listen to me. I hope he does, but he doesn't have to, and we can talk about that in a little bit, too. So one of my main reactions to the entire thing going on in the last while, and to the whole screenshot evidence thing, and to this stuff that happened on Twitter today, maybe Steve should take a couple days and just, relax and, chill on it and have some fun, right? Because it has been stressful, I'll tell you that. And I know it's been stressful for the audience, too, just trying to follow this whole thing. What's up, Nightwave? What's up, dude? Hold up. Let me see if you meant to say anything, because it didn't come up, big guy. Oh, dude, I've been checking in with you, man. We need to talk soon, bro. You need to join my Discord. I know you're busy because your shows have been popping off, but yeah, good to see you, dude. Good to see you. Okay, anyway, now now in between what I pull up, I'm going to go to the front screen. I'm going to do that for a reason, okay? It was a video of the kid. I'm against Andrea. Or wait, am I reading that wrong? It was a video of the kid? Okay, I'm getting there. Yeah, let me get you caught up on where I am, all right? And then we'll go into everything, and then we'll figure it out, okay? Like, I'm not even completely updated on a lot of stuff. I don't even half know what you're talking about. I think I do, but we'll find out. But thank you, my friend, and we'll discuss it. Potato is working great. Man, Brainy, jump in Discord tomorrow because mine is crashing, and I don't know what I need to do to fix it. You might be able to help me, and I know Stuart can too, but he's working, so we'll figure it out. Okay. Anyway, so let me go ahead. I'm going to turn off the screen chat just for this, just until later. No big deal there, but all right. So Steve also has responded, all right? He responded with this. And he said this at 12:44 a.m. So he said this like not that long ago at all. Like, let's say like 44, 54, 04 to 30 some minutes ago or whatever. I asked the community and they have spoken. We have a workaround for tomorrow's show. We will not be mentioning or using KJ's kid's name for the stream. Situation resolved. Well, I'm going to go a few steps further. Like, maybe like reschedule the stream for another. This is my opinion. He doesn't have to do this. I'm just trying to give him YouTube advice, friend advice. And like I said, I'm not completely caught up. I'll get there. I attempted to be. Okay. I don't want to broadcast it either right now. I'd rather talk to him like, on the after show, then jump back over here tomorrow and update you guys and all that. So anyway, I asked the community, they have spoken. We have a workaround for tomorrow's show. We will not, in caps, be mentioning or using the son's name for the stream. Situation resolved. Yeah, maybe not just bring him up at all, and leave. I'm just telling you what I would do. It's not what Steve has to do. What I would do personally is I've tried to avoid any talk of Katie's medical stuff or anything. Even if she put it out, I try to ignore it. Okay, if we look at the entire situation, everything else that's out there is this. And I've been trying to say this, by the way, for months when it comes to the Katie and Kyle situation, all right? This is another piece of advice I've been trying to get into Steve to realize over and over and over and over, especially that night when he came up on my stream, and I was interrupting him a lot and stuff like that. There was a reason for that, and this is pretty much it. All the little things don't really matter at this point, and I'll tell you why. I'm being serious. For one, they're not. Katie's audience doesn't care about the little things anyway. They just go in and out their other ear if they even listen. And for two, I can't follow it, so I bet that the audience has a hard time following it. I don't think we want to literally learn every single detail of all this stuff and all this drama. I don't want to. I want to know the details that apply, that affect things. I want to know the result. And if they are brought up, I want to hear them once or maybe twice. But everything's been repeated so many times in this situation that I think, I'm not saying that that's bad, and I'm not saying you can't keep repeating things, but I'm saying that's the reason the community is reacting the way it is. I look at communities on YouTube, I look at analytics, I look at everything and factor it all in, and I've been doing it a long time. My advice is, because of so much of the small stuff coming out, it has created this giant mishmash, this giant like potato salad, if you will. I don't know what to call it, but it's caused the situation to devolve and devolve and devolve and devolve and devolve. Because in no realm or reason do I think that it matters here. Because if I could add some logic for why it matters, no big deal. A very brief mentioning of something like maybe, but you get what I'm saying there. And I'm saying that both for the medical condition of Katie and because I also have medical conditions. I was disabled after going to Iraq. You guys know this. So anyway, Steve has medical conditions. I just don't think it. I think because of the situation, maybe, and I know each situation's different, so it's not an all-encompassing thing. In this situation specifically, I think that it doesn't matter to bring up her kid in any way. I would look at the things that matter, and why is that? Because Katie's audience, Steve's community, my community, our whole community as a whole, they've already seen so much of it. There's so many people that already know, and everyone admits that. Everybody admits they already know a lot of what's going on with this, right? We all can say that. And if you don't know a lot about what's going on with this and you don't want to know, you're not going to click the videos. You're going to go do something else. But if you do want to know, I've done summation videos. I've done 2 now. I've done a edited summation video and a live summation video last night that completely contain a sum up, a thing that shows the main points and the main flow. Got me? My point is, putting out all the little things now is only going to give Katie more ammunition, and it's only going to give her audience more hatred towards not just Steve, but the community in general. Because yes, Katie's community is going to look at this and look at what's happening with it, and they're going to say, they're talking about petty things, small things, the kid, the things like this, the medical conditions, and they're not going to respect any of the other stuff that we have to put out. It's a dangerous and slippery road to go those routes. That's why I try not to. Mentioning things for a good reason is of course okay. This is not an all-encompassing criticism. This is a specific criticism for this situation, okay? You got me. Now, next. Oh, I didn't get to finish something. Okay, I skipped one thing in my ranty rant, but you're getting a rant tonight, guys, so sorry. If you don't want my rant, you don't have to hang. So the next thing I'll say is that, yes, I do think that Nick should take over for the screenshot situation. Also, I don't think we should be bringing up any other details about the screenshot situation until it's been confirmed. And we have now, I don't know. I'm now told that there is a person M and a person X and a person 15. Like, I don't know. I guess there's two people, person M and person X. This is how it's been explained to me. Person M is a middleman. Person X is the originator. This is diluted. This is maybe something that only needs to be said in an edited sum up, because saying it live is just going to dilute it further. Interviewing person M, interviewing person X, discussing the situation with them, getting details from them. Not worth it at all, in my opinion. And here's why. We haven't got it confirmed yet. It's like investing in a maybe. It's like investing in something, and as days go on, and we find out that person M is now willing to come out, but they're still trying to talk to person X. Person X might come out, but then they might not come out. As those things continue, with every passing minute that these screenshots are not confirmed at the highest point, more and more people are starting to not trust it. I'm not saying this to do pause it, Busy. I'm not saying this to try to devalue anything. I'm not saying this to do in anything. I'm saying this because it needs to be said, because if you look at the community as a whole, you look at what everyone's thinking and saying, you sit and talk to the people, which if you ask anyone, I have been sitting and talking to people about this anytime they come to me, okay? If you look at all of that as a whole, you're going to see yourself that people are starting to not trust these screenshots, and this is kind of helping it. Oh, well, thank you, Up. I appreciate you. But back to what I was saying. People are starting to not trust these screenshots because of the fact that, let me give Steve a criticism, because I promised Steve I would criticize him equally to Katie, so I will. Steve brought up that the screenshots have been verified with forensic evaluation again, I think either yesterday. He said it yesterday, right? Other people have said that too, and I think they're saying it because they hear Steve saying it. I've said this a million times. I don't know why it's not getting through to anybody. Verification of the screenshots using forensic analysis does not matter. It only mattered for the first check. Once that check came out and said, yep, these are real screenshots, logically we need to ask ourselves, is there any other thing that could make them fake that the forensic analysis would not pick up? The answer was yes. I was very strict about this on Steve's show and on my show with Steve after everybody got Steve up here, right? It doesn't matter if the forensic evaluation happened if we haven't checked it on the top level. And I'm going to pull up the Billboard of Doom in order to kind of give a little bit of a reasoning why, because it helps me talk sometimes. Busy, can you initiate the program Billboard of Doom? Thank you, sir. Well, that was quick. Usually takes a while to load. Okay. Now, this is the Billboard of Doom. It helps me think sometimes. All right, so what was I talking about? We're talking about forensic evaluation. So forensic evaluation has happened. What does it tell us? It tells us whether or not the screenshots were made in Photoshop, whether they have additional layers. The only one that should have additional layers was the one that was, put into Paint. The others were not put into Paint. Steve, if I recall correctly, said that that's exactly what the forensic analysis showed. So the forensic analysis came back that they are basically what you would expect from real screenshots with forensic analysis. So we ask ourselves a question. Now that the forensic analysis has been done, is there anything else that can be done outside of the forensic evidence that it can't check in order to fake the screenshots? And if you recall, my answer was yes. And I know this because I just went through a story about this. What can be done? It's easy. You make a Messenger account. You download, you right-click. I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. Make a Messenger account. Right-click Katie's personal Facebook page's profile picture. Hit Save As, save it. Go to the sock account, upload Katie's picture. Go into Facebook and hit Change Name. Type in exactly what Katie's name is, then save it. Send the message from that account to Person X's account, and bam, when you run it through the forensic evaluation, it looks real because it's a real screenshot that has not been manipulated. You see? Does it mean that they're real, though, if this was used to generate those screenshots? No, they could still be fake as hell. Right now, we are at 50-50. People will say, well, Katie ran and disabled her Facebook. Well, I know she did, and it makes her look guilty as hell. But then again, you know, this still could have happened, and Katie could just be a nut job. And I'm sorry, I do. The more crazy that Katie acts, the more likely I am to say, would Katie be the type of person to not critically think through whether or not taking her Facebook down or up matters? Because also there's another possibility. Katie could have got overwhelmed by the amount of criticism that came at her on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and she could have disabled all of them, which she did. Then people could have looked at that as if she's guilty, and it could have instigated more people to go at her. And she could have changed the name of her Twitter account, which she did. And she could have done it 5 more times, which she did. But anyway, that doesn't mean that Katie's innocent, and it doesn't mean that Katie's guilty of it. That's why I've said this a bojillion bojangles, ramalama ding dong time. It would only take 1 minute for Person X to connect to Nick Suter, a third party that would respect them and make sure it's as safe as it can be. Right-click them, go to the screenshot. Do you remember me saying all this? It would take a minute for this to happen, for verification to happen. Now, we do need to look at why do we not have at least Person X contacting Nick Suter, pulling it up and saying, I know it'll help the situation. Nick, you're not going to release my identity, right? Nick would say, I give you my word. They'd pull up their Facebook. They'd show that these messages link to actually Katie's Facebook, and wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Shake some, throw down the sombrero and start dancing around that sucker. Everybody have a good time. They're real. But that's the thing. Because it's not happening, it does take more people down the road of, what if they're fake? So one more time for the whole community, due to what I've seen on Twitter today. And yes, this matters because it was brought up today on Facebook by Steve too. One more time. That doesn't matter. Everything out there, who cares until it's confirmed? Now, why am I saying this? Because Steve was talking about having an interview or something with Person M or Person X. We will look at the Twitter itself in a second, and we'll be able to find out what he said. You hearing me? And because Steve is about to interview them, I just want to make sure he tells people if he's going to make the choice to do the interview, a choice that I would say no until it got confirmed. If he's going to make the choice to do the interview, it is my opinion he should be very safe, very careful, and let people know ahead of time exactly what I've just said. So where do I criticize Steve in what I just said? When Steve brought up those screenshots yesterday and the forensic evaluation, he should have additionally brought up my point about how the forensic evaluation does not add credence to these screenshots. And since this is a stream about criticizing Steve due to other things that happen, I want to get this criticism in too, okay? You got me? Okay. Now, that's why I myself am not considering those screenshots. I announced it yesterday and hoped that it would affect the community a little bit. I hope people would look at what I did and say, there's got to be a reason for Uni, who wants the truth to come out more than anybody else in this situation, because if the truth did come out, by the way, this would be over and we could all just go and do our thing, right? That's the main reason I want it done, right? But also so that I can criticize whoever's wrong in the situation too. and do a video and get it done. Anyway, though, it does seem like Steve is assuming that he doesn't have to be unbiased anymore because he himself has made up his mind. And I implore Steve as a friend, your audience will respect you if you're unbiased as much as you can be. They will respect you if you, because when looking at the situation, I disagree with Steve. Steve acts like he's very much convinced in the screenshots. And I was in the beginning of this. I was way more convinced of the screenshots in the beginning. But as time has gone on and Person X has avoided all of this, I am now very suspicious of those screenshots. It doesn't give Katie an out for anything but the screenshots, though, okay? It's not me taking Katie's side, because I damn well ain't deleting the videos where I criticized her. You got me? Anyway, just want to make sure you know everybody has that. Everybody's got it. Everybody's up to date on it, all right? And we got a lot more to do. I got to stay focused here or I'm going to lose it. Okay, let's see if I have that. Oh, I was looking for that earlier. So let's go through Steve's Twitter real quick, and then we'll see if we can find where this was said. Actually, mods, do me a favor. Anyone out there, please. Current live stream room, and it may be there. I'm going there now. I need the statement that Steve put out about Person X into the current live stream room again for me as soon as possible. And I'm sorry that I don't have it right now, but I couldn't find it, and I got sidetracked. That's why I try not to get sidetracked before a stream. I try to make sure stream prep is done correctly and all this. So give me 1 second, y'all. I'm going to see if I can get this. I want to read what Steve put out about the screenshots. Okay, so hold on. Let me read Without a Crystal Ball commentary account. Uni, I understand your concerns, but frustrated seems you don't really try to consider where Person X is coming from, or Person X, or Person M for that matter, given Katie's history of vindictiveness. I have. You didn't hear me correctly. I said this the other day. Maybe you weren't here, so let me just re-say it for you. I am fully considering Person M and Person X's everything, okay? And Person M has nothing to worry about. Person M's just a middleman, so we only have to worry about Person X. Katie had the conversation with Person X. Katie already, if they're real, Katie already knows who Person X is. So let's say that Katie right now, if those screenshots are real, we know who Katie is. If I'm to believe everything that we see about Katie, how vindictive she is, how nasty she is, how much she likes to go behind the scenes and do something that is the opposite of what she shows, right? If I'm to believe, and I do believe how vindictive she is because she's been vindictive with me for no reason, I have to believe that she's already trolling Person M, the originator of the screenshots, because she knows who it is. She had the conversation with Person M. And if she is trolling them, there's a million different ways she could troll them, but we already know how Katie trolls somebody. She's already told her troll force who they are. She's told the troll force not to release it and to go and intimidate them and put them down and do these things. So there would be a record of the intimidation. There would be a record of all this stuff happening. So Person M should be scared out of their minds wanting this to stop. Person M, the only way I said this the other day, I reached out to Person M through my show and I said, you need to come out because Katie is never going to stop harassing you. And by the way, there's no way Katie isn't harassing Person M if they are real. So I understand where you're coming from. I truly do. And I love you. I do. And I love what you do and how you're thorough and all that. And I'm not putting you down. I'm not turning against you right now. I'm trying to get through to everybody that just because Katie sucks does never means that we should have her something attributed to her that she did not do, right? She cannot become our punching bag. We cannot become the monsters that Katie Joy has become and do the things that Katie has done. And if you frame her, I'm not saying you are, if anybody frames her for this, but how do you frame her for it? By attributing her to doing these screenshots before validation has happened. If you do that, you are, and it maybe in a small way, maybe in a large way, I don't know, you're starting to walk down the path of becoming the same thing that Katie is. And it is my due diligence to stand up and to plead with you to look at the bigger picture, to maintain your reputation, to maintain, and I'm not saying specifically you, I'm saying anyone out there, only because verification is easy, only because if the screenshots are real, definitely this person's already being harassed by Katie Joy, if we believe everything we've been shown about Katie Joy, and because of the fact that the community needs this to move on with this, I implore everybody to reconsider how they feel about attributing these screenshots to Katie until it's been proven. And you all begged me to be unbiased. You begged me to do what I do, and I am doing it right now in the kindest, most open way that I can to get through to you, okay? You have to see where I'm coming from, okay? Because if it was you, and you were standing there saying, I know it looks bad, but I didn't do it, I would fight for you until verified with my last breath. Okay, so let's see. I still don't have it in my current live stream room, this stuff about person M and person X, so I'm just going to go ahead and move on. You get me? Andrew, I completely disagree. I do not think that, I will tell you why, but Andrew says this would be a much more productive conversation if this was in a discussion format with Steve in order to correct any points of confusion or error. It would not, because, and I hate saying this, but you asked me to do this, to be this person, and I am friends with Steve, so I'm doing it. And I promised Steve I would do this. I promised you I would do this, so I'm doing it. Steve has been unable to check his emotions in this situation, okay? In the points I have just given, like the thing with the forensic evaluation and other small points like that, he is thinking with his emotion. He has every right to, okay? He's been attacked. He's been lied about. He's been slandered. He's been put down. At the same time, he has a giant community of people that care about him enough to have his back. And at the same time, I care about him enough as a friend to have his back, just like you do, Andrew. Because of that, it is very much imperative that I am able to get up here and say these things and implore the community to do the right thing in this. If I was to just let the community continue going on, pulling in things about Katie's son, pulling in things about Katie's medical, pulling in things about the screenshots before they're verified, and for all, I am telling you still to this point that I 100% think they're going to get verified because I trust Steve, because I trust what's going on out in the community. I see what Katie's done in the past, but I'm telling you, don't let yourself fall into that mindset. If you do fall in that mindset now, it may not affect this situation. It may and it may not, but in the future, you will be more prone to falling into that mindset again. That is what leads to biased thinking. It is what leads to innocent people being determined guilty for things that they did not do. You have to be able to fight even for your enemy's right to have things verified that are lobbied against them. And you also have to be able to fight for your enemy's right to have free speech. We have to do all these things with each other. And I just think that everyone's so angry with Katie that they're not seeing how easy this verification is and how logical it is that, yes, if Katie didn't know, let's say that these screenshots were set up in a way, and I'll get to every super chat, I promise you. Let me finish this, though. Let's say that this situation was set up in a way so that Katie did not know who person M was right now. I would be fine maintaining their anonymity. And I'm already still fine with maintaining their anonymity, okay? I'm still saying that I don't think they should have to come out and identify themselves. I'm telling them to go to Nick, and Nick will, I guarantee he'll stand up and say that he will maintain their anonymity for them. And if Nick won't, he can stand up and say that he won't, but Nick has always said that he would with a source. So I do believe Nick because I trust Nick. By the way, Nick's channel is in time. If anyone wants to talk to him about this, you can hit him up. He's done some of the best blogging about the situation that I've been able to find, especially the non sequitur stuff from Nick from In Time. Anyway, though, if let's say that her anonymity was maintained, I'd be fine with it. I'd be saying, yes, we cannot let her anonymity come out. But the person that would do the worst to this person knows who this person is if the screenshots are real, and that's the only reason my opinion is there. I'm fine with you guys doing whatever you want to do. You don't have to take my advice, but I'm going to get up here. I have to get up here on my show and tell you where I stand, because even though I may not back people taking those screenshots and attributing them to Katie, treating it like she's done it, making content where they say it, even though I'm against it, it doesn't mean that you can do it. I'm not going to hate you if you do it. I'm just making sure that everyone knows where I stand is all I'm doing, okay? And yes, those screenshots came up again today, so yes, I'm going to, weigh in really quick. I want to get these super chats before they pile up, but I just want to make sure everybody's with me there. I'm just saying, 100%, if you were to attribute it to her, I'm not going to hate you. I'm not going to be angry with you. One more time, only because of how quick and easy verification would be, I think that we should get somebody who we can trust, who's neutral to the situation, and Nick fits that bill, to verify this with that person. That way, if she wants to maintain anonymity, she can, and at the same time, she can. We can have a person stand up and say, with my own eyes, I witnessed that this does link to Katie's Facebook. And to go even a step, I won't go a step further because there's super chats coming in. Let me get them done really quick, okay? And then we'll go to the next point. Emotions are irrelevant if the logic is consistent. And that's exactly what I'm telling you right now, my friend. I love Steve. And only because I'm his friend, I'm willing to get up on here and say many things that he's done in relation to Katie and the situation has breached logic, and it's gone into him being unwilling to hear others and think about it to an extent, and only in a minor way. I'm trying to do this now and say this now about these certain things that have happened and give my opinion, weigh in. It's, the same thing. Steve has done this to me in the past. What I'm doing right now, Steve literally has done to me. I got some things wrong about non-sec. The first thing he did was correct me, jump over here, and I corrected the audience. He knows this. He's told you this before. This is the thing Steve told me he wanted me to do, One Girl Revolution says, preach, Uni. Well, I don't know if it's a preaching or a ranting, but I'm doing something. Agree to disagree, I'm with you, my dude. I am. And I love you, and I very much appreciate when you're willing to disagree with me and let me know. That's what I do here, okay? As long as you're not trolling me, I'll let you do that all day, every day. One Girl Revolution said something else, but I cannot see it. One girl says, Steve, you've got to be humble, or you got to learn to be humble. He is most of the time. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to defend Steve right now in the middle of a criticism of Steve. He's always humble about every other situation to the majority of the time, and he always does great. I just think that he's been attacked so much, and he hasn't taken some time to reflect, and that's what's caused these issues to come forth. That's all I'm saying. Nothing negative to Steve. Literally something he's criticized me for himself. It's an equal thing here, so Steve knows it. It's no hate. Okay. Trying to get this done. Failed at engineering. Steve didn't release those screenshots, right? And he does want to verify them without spooking the source. And I'm with you. But I just think that letting people... he came out yesterday. I've made the point 9 times already. He came out yesterday and he said that he kept bringing up that the forensic evaluation was valid, and he kept bringing up these other points, and didn't go as far as to check it. That's all the point I was making. Yeah, we could let this go because I was just making a simple point, and he's done it several other times. I was just making a quick point because of what he said today is all. Oh, my other point is there's no value in interviewing person. I don't know, X or M, whoever. I don't know who he planned on. I wanted the screenshot in the current live stream room, everybody, but hold up. I think I got it. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, let me get the screen. I'm going to pull this up, but let me see what people are saying real quick. It's about to go away. Yeah, I'm 100% he didn't release him, and I'm not blaming him. Karen says, Team Uni. Well, thank you. I'm on Team Karen, just so you know. Ela says, I adore you and appreciate you're coming from a good place. However, the details you're missing is he's willing to listen to others. I know. Listen, I'm not putting Steve down. This is just a base criticism over certain things. This isn't me attacking. If you came in late, you missed a big portion of the beginning. And anyone that just got here, I ask you to please watch the full thing before judging me because, Anyway, let's move on from this damn thing with the screenshots. They're a hot button topic, and I think that we will get, I do sit with the fact that we will get verification probably tomorrow or whatever, so let's just go there. Okay, let me grab this screenshot and get it up. Oh, please explain why Nick should be the one because people ask. Yeah, I'd love to, and thank you, Makeup Obsessed. My opinion with Nick, he's always been, like, he's got several blogs that he wrote about his thoughts on this situation, and he was super fair, and he's super thorough, okay? And Steve trusts Nick, Katie trusts Nick, and I trust Nick, and I know I've never heard anybody say that they don't trust Nick. If you find out if you don't know who he is, go watch a little bit of his content, go look at his blog because it's good. It will inform you, and at the same time, he presents his opinion in a way where he doesn't lose track of everything else. You get me? Same way Steve does, same way I do, you know? So, yeah. And by the way, this isn't negative towards Steve. It's positive towards Steve. I just have to get my all my thoughts out on every situation. Okay, let me pull up the next thing. Okay, let's see if I got this file. Okay, I got it. Cypher, bro. You are a freaking lifesaver. Thank you, my dude. Okay, let's get this finished. I wasn't supposed to be on here long. I'd love to sit here and take more super chats, but honestly, I don't want to take your super chats because I want to get this done and move on with. But let me see real quick. And thank you, because the super chats help me continue the show, so thank you. Uni, you've gotten it a bit wrong, but I admire what you're trying to do. You're really looking out for Steve and yes, man, but a lot of yes men? But why Nick, though? I don't know what you mean by a lot of yes, man. I'm not giving Steve anything that I haven't given Katie, and I'm not giving Katie anything that I haven't given Steve. I've been 100% on Steve for every little, time that he's slipped up and gone out, and that's the whole purpose for this stream. So, yeah, I just explained why Nick, though. And him mentioning ELA, if it doesn't add anything to the convo, doesn't harm Steve either. I'm not saying it does. Yes, I'm not saying it harms Steve. I'm just expressing my thoughts. I don't want to harm Steve. I love Steve. It's all good. Okay, so let me read what was actually said. Okay, Steve says, I've spoken at length with person M, the one who was originally... And if I've been criticizing Katie for a straight week. If I've seen a few things that I think Steve should... I should criticize Steve for on my platform, shouldn't be negative. No one should take it as a negative thing. It should be a positive thing. I'm being fair, Okay, I've spoken at length with person M, the one who was originally sent the screenshots of Katie Joy. I'm without any doubts convinced they are real, and her story was completely in line with the others have told me. She may, if comes on a quote anon be on air to discuss. I think he's trying to say if she can be anonymous, she might come on the air. I'm going to rearrange that sentence. So Steve is a savage and he goes 100 when called out. I know I'm flipping out, man. I'm worried about him killing me. No, he's cool, man. He loves me and he loves me. He's perfectly fine with this. He told me to do this, so it's all good. Okay, so this is a good explanation for what I'm trying to say, okay? I have spoken, and he may not mean it this way, so we'll let him respond and everything else. I've spoken at length with person M, the one who was originally sent the screenshots of Katie Joy. And then he says, period, space, I am without any doubts convinced that they are real. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that puts out this thought process that what is out there is equal to verification or verifying it. You got me? And I've talked to so many people, even hardcore supporters of Steve, have gone to Steve yesterday, to tell him, okay? So that's the thing. Whether he might not even admit it this way. Got me? It's just that a lot of people are saying, and I'm backing this up, it's dangerous to convince the community that these screenshots are real. And I'm saying this to protect Steve. Because if these things come out to be fake, or if they come out that the person doesn't help to verify them, what is going to happen is that the trolls are going to use it against Steve, and also Katie is going to use it against Steve. And then every single time that the trolls want to talk about Steve, they're going to have the one thing that they've never, ever had, a good point to make in their criticism. So here's something that let me get this out as super fast as I can, and I'm going to re-elaborate on this in the future because I don't know if me saying this will come out the way I want it to come out. So just to let you know, I will add this into my summation video and spell it out. But let me say this, and I hope you all follow me. Steve has been attacked by a group of trolls ever since he started the Great Debate community years ago. I think it was 5. Might have been 4. But I think it was 5. Those people have made hundreds, if not thousands, hundreds of videos calling Steve some of the, things that don't matter, and calling Steve some of the things that are the worst things you could possibly say about another human being. But one thing they've never had is a single piece of evidence to back up any criticism from them. So what does that tell me? It tells me that in every situation, in most situations in the past, Steve has always done his due diligence in making sure that he doesn't put out statements like this, or doesn't put out statements that turn out to be flat 100% wrong in the future. And I'm just saying, if you ask yourself this question, if saying this could be used as ammunition against Steve by trolls in the future, if these things, A, don't get verified, or B, turn out to be fake, this will be their biggest point ever, and it'll be their first point to use against Steve. Because I've looked at the videos against Steve, no evidence against him, no good point that they can make singly. But yes, saying this to the community and in effect kind of convincing this to people will be a thing they use against him in the future. So me speaking up to this for Steve is protecting, him and helping him see something that obviously I don't think he's noticed. I'm saying this because of that. You got me? In relation to screenshots. So that's where I'm going. And then some people have their priorities extremely messed up. Oh, that's a different tweet. Okay, so I made sure to say it right. Okay, so you got everything I'm saying. I will elaborate on that last piece in my summation because I don't know if it came out the right way. Regarding yes man, never heard of a yes man. Exactly, but I'm not doing a yes man to Steve. I'm not being Steve's yes man. That's what I'm saying. And yeah, that's what I thought. That's what you were saying in the donation, that I was being Steve's yes man. I am not. Let's say Katie starts dropping some really good evidence and some really good points tomorrow. It will be on my show after she does it. She just hasn't done that yet. Let's say Steve messes up again tomorrow. I will go live and do the same criticism I'm doing now with those new critiques. You got me? That's not what a yes man does. A yes man says yes in every situation. Okay. Now, back to what I was saying. Let's get this finished. I've only got a few other points to make, and it wasn't even supposed to go this long. But I'm glad it did, because I'm glad you guys asked me and spoke up and, approached me. So here we go. Can I get some music, please, Sir Ding Dong? Thank you. All right. So Steve did a post today that had something to do with... Okay, here are the posts. Why would having the screenshots be fake affect Steve? I literally just told you. Because Steve is saying that they're real. He's saying that he's 100% that they're real. That's what I just read to you. That's what that sentence said. Whether or not he meant that, or whether or not, whether he wrote it fast, or whether, he had some other thought in his head when he wrote it, that's my entire point. If the screenshots turn out to be fake, they're going to go back and be like, oh, shit, Steve was sitting here telling everybody that he's 100% convinced that they're real. 100% convinced. In my opinion, if there is if there's something that can be done to verify them, yet it hasn't been done in a situation, even if there is circumstantial evidence, it doesn't mean 100%, does it? You get what I'm saying? Oh, I didn't mean... Yeah, no. Oh, I know that you didn't mean Steve was a savage towards me, and I was just messing with you. I was just playing. I love you, my friend. It's okay. I'm with you. Unni, you need to pay more attention to the chat. I can't. It moves fast, and I cannot be... It's already... 2 a.m., or I would. But if you have a point, I'm going to go to the chat after I finish my presentation and then let you guys ask me whatever you want. So if you have something that you want me to see or respond to, I will get it from the chat when I get there in about 5 minutes. Let me get done with the last point so that I can go to the chat. And I'm trying to go fast so that I do have time to talk to you. It's super freaking late here. I'm trying to move my show earlier and earlier, and it's just not working. But anyway, here we go. The other situation that came up today that people are asking me my opinion for, and that Steve got criticized for, had something to do with Katie's son and tweets Steve made. Here's what Steve said. This is what I have. You think showing a kid's name on a public page, which is his own mom wrote, is immoral. So the accusation against Steve from Katie's fan base, some of his own fan base's criticism towards Steve, on top of other things, was that... it was immoral to bring the kid's name into it or something. Why is my stuff locking up? Hold up. Let me see if I can fix it. We'll just go with this since it locked up. Okay. Anyway, you guys got me understand to there. So then Steve says, I honestly will listen to people that give me a good argument. So this actually is going to turn around. It was going to be initially a criticism against Steve to an extent. It was me going to give my opinion about it and also let you know the situation. Luckily, Steve asked people for their opinion. They sent it to him. He thought about it and changed his mind. So here's what it is, which is a good thing towards Steve, just so you know. So hand sanitizer, who is one of our hardcore peeps in our chat and who supports Steve, says, in my opinion, for your own interest, you should nick out the kid's name, X out, get rid of the kid's name and not actually use it. The actual name adds nothing to the story. No one can complain if it's blacked out. Just use the actual name. Just gives detractors an excuse to troll. And exactly, and that was my point about the last thing too a little bit. He said it a little more eloquent. And then Stuart comes in. I concur. Please don't bring kids into this. Yes, she has brought up the name, but that's her right to do so. But there's no need to use him in this. There's a lot more that she has done, and you don't need to bring him into it. And I was specifically asked to weigh in on this situation, this thing, by some members of the community. I did show evidence for that in the beginning of this. Let me just pull it back up because I don't think I closed it. Actually, I closed it. Did I close it? I closed it. Yep. But let me just go through. So here are some things that Steve brought up today, and I'll just go as far as to say there's so much more out there that throws Katie, that shows who Katie is, that gives Katie in the light she needs to be in, right? But one thing, he did this post, quote, I literally have no sex drive, end quote, Katie Joy Paulson. With a husband like Todd, anyone can see why it's probably ain't the Adderall and other things like that, talking about these things. I'm not going to read the rest of them. I think they're up on Steve's Twitter. So Steve said this after everybody wrote him. I asked the community and they have spoken. We have a workaround for tomorrow's show. We will not be mentioning or using KJ's son's name for the stream. Situation resolved. So I want to elaborate my opinion to the community a little more. And that way I don't have to spam it out on Twitter and all that crap. So let me go ahead and get that out. And let me read what just came in really quick so that I can get it done real fast. Hold on. I can't see it over there. Maybe I can see it here. Oh, yeah, I can. Steve still kicks puppies, though. You know it. And last screenshot, Uni, I meant you weren't a yes man, lol. Oh, good. I was just making sure in case. It sounded like you were calling me a yes man, but I love you. I just wanted to make sure I represented. Okay, so where are we at here? Okay. Steve also said this. Katie's son looks like a happy, normal kid. I hate involving family and kids, but she claims he is medical and something. I'm not an MD. Okay, yeah. I'm not reading that out loud because it has to do with all that stuff, and I'm not even going to show it. So, my whole thing kind of goes in line with what Stuart said. Stuart made the comment to Steve that, there's so much else out there. Don't go down to that level. Trolls will use that against you. Now, why would trolls use it against him, right? Because it's something that Steve, I think, normally wouldn't do. So it's a manner of defending Steve, and that was what I planned to say before we went in. But at the same time, responding to what I was asked by people on Twitter and what was sent in and said to me in my Discord, responding to what everybody said. No, I don't. I disagree with that. I just want to make sure you know. But Steve has come out. He's changed his stance on it, and I think that shows why. There's if we look at what Katie's done when she meets criticism, that's something that she hasn't done up to now. She would rather hide it, disable it. She would rather change the name of her Twitter and act like it never happened. Steve faced it head on and put out what I read to you, so I think that's resolved. So, by the way, when I started the stream, I did not have that statement from Steve. Steve made that statement after I started my stream. So, if he hadn't, I would have weighed that in, and I still would have talked about it because you guys wrote me, because you asked me, and because, and God knows who's asking me or what for. But like I said, I still respond to you, and I still, give people the benefit of response when I don't think they're trolling. Okay, so that's it. We're going to go to the chat and see what you guys want to add in. I'll give everybody about 30 seconds while I grab a little bit more of a drink because it's gotten flat. It went flat. It's been, we've been streaming now for, an hour, and we did about an hour before this on Mixer, so my drink is now flat. So I'm going to get a new drink and start typing. Tag me if you want me to read it, and I will respond. Okay, last thing I'm going to say before we hit the chat. I took some notes before this. Okay, I already said that. Let me take it out of my notes. We are good there. We got that done. Got it. Okay. Got that. And we got it. All right. I can't believe it, but we actually got all my notes done and didn't miss anything, which is rare. All right. Scrolling the chat, and I'm going to try to do this as quick as I can, and we'll get out of here. We're going to go to mixer.com/UNIRock and dlive.tv/UNIRocktv. I really wish I would have named my mixer something else, but oh well. Steve says, what does want to do? Ignore someone with kids who claims they were scammed firsthand? No, I don't want you to do that. No. I mean, I spelled it out. You might have said that before I finished, though, so. Claims only start topics. Proof starts truth, says Dead GPK. Maru Brown, I don't understand what the problem is if somebody wants to tell her story. Shouldn't he silence her? Or should he silence her? I don't know what you mean, but that's cool. No, I'm not saying he should silence her. I'm saying demand. My opinion is if she wanted to come on my show, I would probably tell her that I'd have her on after it's confirmed. That's how I would, because it's a danger in spreading more of the, it's protecting the fact that it's not been confirmed and showing it's maintaining our stance that, we need to be able to do that in these stories, The peeps talking about her kid probably do not have kids of their own, says Karen. Original Nilsson, just because something can be twisted didn't mean it shouldn't be said. This is on the people who are doing the twisting of words, says Original. Okay. Wade said, or at Wade, okay, Elia says, I read that wrong, I'm not part of an echo chamber. She's saying this to Wade. I have a lot of dialogue with Steve in disagreement, and Steve respects it with proper details. This is a bit of a cluster with pieces missing and details left out. This is? I don't see how I did that, but okay. You can let me know later. If you talk to Steve all the time, you can join my Discord and talk to me if you want. Sean says, Steve, that's bad if she's scamming like that. We're bound to find more Hornets she pissed off. That was Sean. Ignore the mom for that. Find other arguments to attack her without involvement. I don't think we should attack her at all, yeah, but I know what you're saying there, so. UNIRock said it's flat. Flat Earth confirmed. Already have a sound bite of you up. Saw we. Brainy! I'm just playing. Okay, Amanda said Katie lied while doing a GoFundMe page for her son. She's scamming people for money because it's all she cares about. Her son is... Oh, okay. I get that you feel that way. I was just giving Steve my advice. I'm not telling him what to do. I'm giving him my criticism, my advice. I'm just doing what Steve asked me to, yeah. Han, there you are. I knew you'd be here, buddy. I went to Mixer last night, listened to a book about cats humping in a coffee shop. They have that on Mixer. Why is UNIRock wearing cycling gloves all the time? They're not cycling gloves. They're just gloves, and my hands get cold when it's cold, so I put gloves on. When it's warm, I don't wear them. So I thought that's what y'all do to some extent, let people talk. It is. I said I'd bring Steve in. I said I would. I just have to be able to talk to you too. You know, I was at the point where, like, I didn't want to bring Steve in while I talked about this until I'd gotten done talking or getting my piece out. The same thing I would have said to him if he was here. I just made him sit there and wait. So I don't know what the issue is. He did it himself 4 days ago. Did you guys criticize him? No. He does it too. I have it in my... He told me... he wanted to come on my show, and I was like, well, I'll get you on in the after show because it's getting late. And Ashley didn't come in, so I went to the after show, and let Steve know. He said, I don't want to come on your after show. And he had invited me to his show. And I was like, okay. He said, but you're going to have to give me 20 or 30 minutes because I want to get my piece out. I have things to say. Steve does it too. So, you know, I mean, I don't know why you're shitting on me. I mean, you're going to have to go shit on Steve too for it then. Anyway. Okay. Many fundraisers where medical funds went to buying a house, not medical bill. I don't mind if you call that out. My whole point was just to leave the kid out. That's all I was saying. Or like the mention of the name and things like that. I was just I wasn't even pulling that up as a point of contention. That was me responding to a bunch of people that messaged me, which everybody said they were cool with. And anyway, if you know I'm not attacking you, if you know I'm not saying Steve did something super wrong or anything, I was just saying I wouldn't do it. Don't know why there's an issue, honestly. Same thing. Other people have said the same thing I'm saying here. Okay, I'm going to the after show. Please come. Mixer.com/UniRock. If Steve wants to jump in the general room, I will jump in there and talk to you for the entire after show. We'll broadcast it. We can clip it and put it up later. Let's go. Let's head over. Let's get this done. It is going to take me about 3 minutes, though, to set up the chat and stuff once I get there. So please be patient. I will be there. It should be on right now. D-Live will be up, too, and Periscope. I'm just saying Mixer because D-Live... Whoa, shit. Last night or the night before, D-Live disconnected a lot. If you're on D-Live and it disconnects and and it seems like I was streaming... It seems like I didn't shut it off. I didn't say bye and all that. If you want to keep watching, jump to Mixer because I probably am not going to sit and stare over at my other monitor this whole stream tonight while I'm sitting there talking to Steve and doing all this other stuff. So if D-Live disconnects, jump over to Mixer. Good news. I checked it a few days ago. You don't even have to have an account to watch there. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can just go and put in the link, mixer.com/UniRock. Watch as long as you want. Listen in as long as you want. You don't have to have an account. The last time I checked. Now, if I'm wrong about that, let me know when I get to Mixer, okay? All right. Let's go. Thank you, Han. I just saw it float up the screen. They said, hey, thanks, Mr. Serious. He said you don't have to have an account to watch on Mixer. I only say that. I know some of you don't want to make Mixer accounts. The only reason I said it.